It was another hot Sunday in Waco, Texas, when the family was waddling down the road to Duck Church. The asphalt absorbed the sun's rays and transformed that heat up their webbed feet. The heat radiated off the long stretch of road and caused the distant horizon to quiver and the poor ducks to roast. Mama Duck, my feet hurt. They're burning, complained Tommy Duck. Mine too, said Billy Duck. Now, Duck kids, we are nearly there to Duck Church. In fact, it's just around the corner. Let's go in, said Mama Duck, taking her duck kids by the hand and walking in. When church service began, they all sang a few hymns. Shall we gather at the river, under his wings, and down at the cross? There was communion and then an offering. After that, they all joined in singing the doxology. No choir song was scheduled that day, but Mildred Mallard singing a special. Then it was Pastor Pentel's time to preach. My fellow Ductians, if you have your Bibles, please turn to Exodus 19:4. This is what it says. You yourselves have been seen what I did to Egypt, and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Brother and sister ducks, he said, I have heard your cries and complaints about the insufferable heart, and I have felt the pain of the asphalt on my own webbed feet. But I have good news for you. Look at those appendages on your sides. They are called wings. They were made for us to fly, so we could be above the hot asphalt and enjoy the cool breeze in our faces. I want you to flap those wings and learn to fly, concluded Pastor Pentel. Then near the front, a duck rose in the air, then another in the back, then another, and another. Soon the sanctuary was filled with flying ducks. Some flew in a circle around the room. Others got fancy and did figure eights. A few even tried to fly upside down, but they soon quacked up. Revival had broken out. They all came forward for reductification at invitation time. And some old coot was called upon to quack out the benediction. Whee! Shouted Tommy Duck and Billy Duck, enjoy flying through the air. Heresy! Screamed Mama Duck. Grandpa Duck said, since 1888, that our family must walk to Duck Church and hear dying duck sermons each week so we can enter heaven, said Mama Duck. But Mama Duck, the sermon is good. I learned something, moaned Billy Duck. Me too, wailed Tommy Duck. It doesn't matter, for Grandpa Duck was wise. For Grandpa Duck knows all. Mama Duck ranted over and over, grabbing her duck kids and waddling home. What we see in the story is that legalism kills the church. Paul wanted a church that would focus on Christ and not focus on tradition. Colossians 2:8 says, see to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy, which depends on human tradition and the elemental spiritual forces of this world rather than on Christ. This is what Paul is saying. Consider change. You can't go to church because the church is you. Church is something more than what we do once a week. But sadly, we get so stuck in our ways, and we tend to think that our traditions will bring us to heaven. We get so set in our ways that we believe that all we need to do is sing a couple of hymns, pray, and then listen to a 20-minute sermon. Then we even take it a step further and say, this is how everyone must worship God. We get so focused on our traditions that we forget that we need to stay focused on Christ, that we need to live for Christ, that our actions is what we worship God with, is that we worship God through our words. We worship God through being like Jesus. Will you worship Jesus this week through your actions? Will you worship Jesus this week through your words? Will you consider a change in how you view worship?